Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau joining you on a very sunny day here in South Florida. Happy to be joined by Mike Welsh again from the Daily Racing Forum. You can see the main track there, sloppy and sealed. I guess some heavy rains blew through. You were in the area right this morning, and it came down pretty good.
Yeah, it came during training this morning. It came quick but hard for about 10, 15 minutes. So it left the main track, like you see it, pretty sloppy. And the Tapeta, though, got packed down pretty good. We had a lot of works on the Tapeta after the main track got wet like that. A lot of guys canceled some work scheduled for the main, came over to the Tapeta, and they were on the quick side. So I'm not, now with the sun out, I'm not sure if that's going to switch or not switch. But like I always say, too, when you get a drying out racetrack, which is what we're going to have, main track today, kind of keep an eye on how that plays. Sometimes it dries out better on one part than another. So you want to kind of keep an eye on how the races are playing, inside, outside, speed, not speed. So
4 main track races on the card. Started out sealed and sloppy, but the maintenance crew does such a good job here. And the 2 of the races, including the stakes, are a little later on. So if the weather cooperates, and of course that's always a question mark here in South Florida, but if the weather cooperates, that track will dry out very, very quickly. $175,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee, Rainbow Six. That will kick off in race 4. And again, thanks to everybody. They really sent it in yesterday, and that bumps up to $175. And as we were yesterday, I would think we'll be comfortably over that $200,000 right in front of us today, I would think. But as always, the card kicks off in the early pick 5, this 9-race card today. We'll take a look at my ticket. It's a little bit bigger than I normally play. I thought the initial early part of this card was pretty difficult, and you can see I'm spreading early and often. We'll get to the opener, Mike and I will, in a second. In race number 4, the 4 Macuto and Antonio Sano firster. So that kind of tells you, I'm picking that one on top. That kind of tells you maybe what I think of that group in there in race number 2. In race number 3, my long shot is Valissima on the outside. In race number 4, the top pick is the 7, Brook Mesa, coming down from Saratoga for Terry Pompey. And then there we go in the finale, Peach Nectar in the final leg, I should say. I'm not looking to beat Peach Nectar at a very short price. But the opener, I've got 5 of the 7 of them in here, Mike. These are $25,000 maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They'll go 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. And you are on the 3, lightly raced Starship Vanity, which I think is a very good thing in this kind of group.
yeah, it is wide open. You could probably make a case for a whole bunch in here, several drop downs, but there's also one step up, and that's Starship Vanity. But he's stepping off a pretty good debut. This is a part handicapping, part workout play for me. He chased Sea Pearl first time, or she chased Sea Pearl first time out. Sea Pearl flattered this race, came back off the claim next time, and won again against Starter Allowance Company. Same wire-to-wire race, actually improved her buyer from 72 to 76 the second time out. So pretty good race, even though it was for 16.
Yep.
And then she came back on September 16th, has been away for a while.
Right.
But she worked from the gate and worked with Sigrid Fastboy, who ran, I believe, second here yesterday, the oldest Sigrid Fastboy, and Starship Renegade, who did not run well yesterday, and who I said I wasn't crazy about the way he had worked. Starship Vanity stuck with these 2 older horses for a long ways in that work, and that's big props for me for that. So between that, the price, the good first race, I give her a big shot in here at right now 7-1.
And the other thing, too, is Steve Dwoskin is not a guy that's going to win with first-time starters. So to see her run as well as she did, and then you look, second-time starters received 23%. So certainly she's a major
6.06 ROI. Yeah. That will go up if this one wins today.
Big number there. Megan Making Money came back last time off the claim for Liz Dobles. Let's show you the replay. Not really a lot going on here. I just want to show you how well she ran. Liz took the waiver that day. She's down on the inside, kind of taking all the worst of it, getting pressed and chased by a 7-5 favorite, and she essentially bottoms out this 7-5 favorite here, entering the far turn. Just couldn't hold on over the winner, and that is, you can see there, Glazed Ginger. But boy, Megan Making Money ran so well in that spot, and now Liz is right back. Didn't want to lose her in this spot. It doesn't bother me that she's right back for a quarter. It kind of is what it is. They claimed her for this price. I think she's going to really move forward.
She's on the wrong lead there, too. If she had changed leads, she might have held on.
Yeah, exactly. So I would expect we get a little bit better today. Feline is dropping for Arundel, and I'm sure they're going to bet her. She's certainly not going to be 7-2, I wouldn't think, in this kind of spot. I don't know.
One Smoke and Reader also taking a drop for Ralph Nix off a some decent races.
Yeah, they're both of them are a little untrustworthy to me, and they're going to send it in on feline. So I'm going to use them. It's a spread race for me. I don't want to get beat by them, but I think we're both looking elsewhere for a reason. We'll go to race number 2, and this is a good one here, a mile maiden special. We'll stretch these 2-year-olds out a little bit. The Colts and Geldings here. It kicks off the early pick 4.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. We have a couple scratches, unfortunately, of the 2. Awesome train in the 8 modern lane, and who is left in here? There are no great shakes or anything like that. All right, you're with me. I always had Makuto on top. I know Antonio Sano never wins with first-time starters. He's just 4%. Edgar Zayas is here. They're about 20% together. I don't know. I found this horse a little bit interesting, even before the scratches, Mike.
Yeah, I scratched into him, and the reason I did not pick him on top was because the barn is a pretty low percentage, 4%, as we see on the DRF stats. But I did like the fact that Edgar's with him. They paid $105,000 for this horse. And now with the 2 Barbosa out, the 2 I had picked, I give him the edge. I mean, Cacique Barrio, an obvious choice now. And you can see from the double payoffs that he's probably going to be the post-time favorite, and I'm going to guess Makuto will be second choice.
Yeah, and the other one, too, is the 5 TB12 always for Kent Sweezy. Another guy that's not necessarily going to pop or crank him up, but, this horse has a little pedigree. They paid $75,000 for a Tail of Verb, which stands for 2, and they did it in March. So, that you surmise that they like this horse a little bit as, this is a tote board race, to be sure, and see who's live and taking money. You don't want to see these firsters sitting up there at 7 or 8 to 1, especially if they're not being played in the will pays. Because Cacique Barrio is fine, but he's no great shakes either. So I think this is a race there for the taking. If they can run a little bit, I think the experienced horses might be a little bit vulnerable. We'll go to race number 3 here. We'll go 1.70 miles on the Tapeta. These are fillies and mares 3 and up, which have never won 2 races. The tag is $8,000. We do scratch the 4 Cupid Austin. Mike, you're on Krabby. You got to talk me onto Krabby because I'm sorry, she was not very good last time.
No, I
70
get it.
cents on the dollar.
I get it. I just think maybe Lone Speed here. Mm-hmm. That was my angle. I mean, she will ghost you is the big question mark. Taking the strap. You go back to that race 2 back, and she's going to be tough to beat. But will she? I mean, why are they dropping him down? Pretty recent, that race, and now they're dropping him. Yeah. We're dropping her in for $8,000. There's a big question mark there. This was just strictly a pace play for me. I didn't really like this race much at all. And I'll let you make a case for number 7.
Well, she's my long shot on the card. And I know she's run 14 times, and they're all sprints, but she's by Violence out of a Lemon Drop Kid mare. Can we try her at 2 turns, please? And she's finally going to do it today. And whoever you like in here, and Mike said Krabby, and maybe she does get loose, and then he mentioned She Will Ghost You, she laps the field if she runs back to the race 2 back. What happened last time? We have no idea. At 2 to 1, by the way.
And then down to 8,000.
And down to 8,000.
Yeah, that's a red flag, no doubt about it.
It's a huge red flag, so I'm just maybe getting a little creative in here. I mean, you can toss the 6. And then you look at the rest of them, there's no one to trust in here. Maybe we get a square price on Velissima, who has okay races in her past. And, Mike made a good point, too, with the ring. We've talked about it a lot, Samantha and I. The Tapeta can tighten up, and it'll be worth watching these races early on to see how the speed plays, because it can definitely tighten up, yield quick fractions, and sometimes they don't come back.
Works pretty fast this morning.
It works for fast, so there you go there. 3 down, 6 to go on the 9-race Sunday card. We've got a stakes coming up, and when we come back, we've got the Rainbow, $175,000 in that gross jackpot guarantee.
And they're off.
My Racehorse has opened up a door for people that felt like that door would have never been opened for them.
We can all be owners and we can all get that excitement.
You can meet your horse through the different experiences and all of the events that My Racehorse puts together. You get that hands-on connection.
Whether you have $50 or $500, everyone that joins My Racehorse gets that experience of a lifetime.
I love My Racehorse. Let's go.
And welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau, happy to be joined by Mike Wells of the Racing Form. We've got 3 down, we've got 6 to go, and that means it's Rainbow 6 time here in race number 4, and they sent it in yesterday, so we thank everybody, and that means we're $175 today in this gross jackpot guarantee. I would, well, I always bet the over, but I think 200,000 is firmly in play today. We'll take a look at my ticket here. I don't think, and we'll get through this sequence a little bit, I didn't find this as a big balloons kind of sequence / ticket. That's why I'm $24. We'll get to the 4th race here in race number 5. I already mentioned I'm not going to try to beat Peach Nectar on a huge drop and on a very, very short favorite. 4 deep in race 6. Another, this is a 3-year-old race, excuse me. I have the 5 at Lassie on top. In race number 7, here's my best bet of the day, Black Bell. Now, 8 to 1 in the morning. I don't think we're going to get that, but well, I mean,
No.
This is a tricky race, though. The feature is a good one, the Hollandale Beach. I'll just go with the 2 Arundel runners, but I'll also use Omaha Girl for Jorge Delgado. And then 5 deep, I'll throw a blanket on the nightcap and try to get a little price, maybe with Mucho Macho Mac in there, a second-time starter for Antonio Sano. $24 for me. And let's get into it because it could start out with a tricky race and maybe a race I'm supposed to go a little deeper in. These are the 2-year-old fillies, and they're going to go a demanding 6.5 on the main track on debut here for a lot of them. Sloppy and sealed to start out the day, but this race at 2:23 in the p.m., we'll see what happens. Already mentioned how good our crew is here, and it's beautiful out right now. Candy Gray, the firster for Safi, makes a lot of sense, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, she does. I didn't see those works this summer. I wasn't here, the 46-1, the 46-3. I did see the work last week out of the gate, and it was terrific. And
Okay.
the horse looks like she's fit and ready to go first time out, as most of these Safi Joseph Jr. horses are. So I picked her on top. Brook Mesa, I saw this horse work at Saratoga. You look at that August 13th, 47-2 gate. It was all of that and was done pretty easily. Terry Pompey sent the horse up to Dale Romans. He had the horse in his barn when she worked that day. She got a lot of money. I mean, she was in with
9-2 at
Asmussen
Saratoga.
and Chad and Todd Pletcher, and she went off 9-2 in here. But she really didn't get a good trip. She broke a little flat-footed, got in behind horses, took a lot of dirt, probably got a good education out of the race, came back here, worked 59-4 here, but worked with a horse that ran poorly the other day off that same 59-4, so that has me a little bit hesitate. The barn has had several horses work fast in the morning and not produce in the afternoon. Right now, I guess if I had to slip a second horse in behind Candy Gray, it would be Sadie the Goat. The more I thought about it, and after watching that other horse that worked with this horse run after I made the picks for the paper, Sadie the Goat ran well first time behind Hepburn, who's going to be, if not the favorite,
Big player in
the
the
second choice in the stake race today. And I think this horse should improve off that race. You look, 2 bullet work since.
Yeah.
So Sadie the Goat of the experienced ones, obviously the one to beat, or at least I think is the one to beat. But I'm going to go with Candy Gray.
Well, let's take a look at the stat for Terry Pompey on the 7, Brook Mesa. And I think when this filly ran at Saratoga, this is second-time starter's dirt sprint. So this is a big number, 28%. I think when this horse ran at Saratoga, Mike, and you mentioned the race she was in and who she was in against connections-wise, I think Terry was 0 for 17 with first-time starters in the form. So people see that. And the fact that this horse was 9-2, you said it perfectly.
No, he was a big buzz horse.
Yeah,
There was no doubt about
without a
it. We
doubt.
had it on our workout report with a big work, too, and that has a little effect, I think, up there,
I agree.
too. So
Yeah, and, you know, my notes say that a lot of kickback, a little green. If you go back and watch the race,
It was
this
all of
horse
that, yeah.
was behind about 6 horses, just getting constant kickback. Never was able to get out of there. Much better post today. I think she moves forward in a big way. We'll just have to see if Safi's got a real runner or not. The work certainly kind of allude to that. Race number 5 kicks off the late pick 5 here. And this is 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. These are 12-5, 2 L's, 3 and up. Never won, as I said, 2 races. It's a clean slate, and I like to try to beat vulnerable favorites and short price favorites. I'm not trying to beat Peach Nectar in a spot like this.
yeah, you're probably right. I did take a shot
Okay.
with Gotta Like Him. I liked his last race. I know he got beat at 8-5, but he did all the dirty work in the race and then got picked up in the final strides by Midnight Getaway. Should get a good trip stalking Peach Nectar. Look, if Peach Nectar gets loose on
Right.
the lead and that Tapeta course is packed down and speed favoring, he's going to be long gone. I mean, you got to use both of these in here, I think, in the horizontals. But I just took a shot that Gotta Like Him's going to be 5-2, 3-1 today. Peach Nectar probably closer to 3 to 5 or 4 to 5.
Exactly. It is a good outside attack post for Gotta Like Him. We can show the race, too, because he ran very, very well. Gotta Like Him beat the Great Caesar last time when they ran second and third, and he was doing the dirty work, too. Gotta Like Him. I know he was 8 to 5, and I get that, but it's actually, the Great Caesar here, excuse me, who was on the inside, and he was on the two-path press and kind of hard chase, and he's comfortably ahead, and he kind of wins the battle, loses the war angle, because the winner is going to sweep them all here. Midnight Getaway out in the middle with the Shikandas silks that we know so well. It's a good effort by Gotta Like Him, and today he is, again, as you said, Mike, he's outside Peach Nectar, and if you're looking for a little mild surprise, and let's be honest, anybody on a budget is doing what I'm doing. They're singling Peach Nectar, and that kind of flatters Gotta Like Him, too. You get a little more value that way if you can get him home. I can't see anybody else. I know the Great Caesar ran pretty well last time, but he's in a tricky spot today as maybe even a pace sandwich, too. So I think the gap after the top two, regardless of the order, is a pretty big one. We'll go to race number 6 here, late pick 4. 3-year-olds and up. I keep wanting to call them 2-year-olds in this race because there are some exciting horses in here. We do scratch out the 3, Mighty Miracle. Big pace player in here because I thought he could have gotten loose and possibly gotten brave in here. We'll go 5.5 on the Tapeta. Kicks off the late pick 4. It's a run back. I'll just tweet it out a little bit later, and we'll show it certainly during the race, but all my tickets are run backs. And we both land on Al Atlassi for Ralph Nix off an extended layoff, Mike. It's a pretty good angle for Ralph, who's trying to get some traction at the Sunshine Meet here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Tapeta is a question mark, but this horse is a half to a Group 3 winner on the turf in France, a horse called Belle Harbor Music. So might suggest that the Tapeta will be something that he can handle. That was a huge race he ran when he got beat back in January. Obviously had an issue coming out of the race, 75 buyer at that time of year for a just turned 3-year-old. Got beat by, like I said, a Todd Pletcher first-time starter. Finished in front of Armstrong. All Armstrong has done since then is come back and win 2 or 3 stakes, or 3 in a row, but 2 stakes, I believe.
3 for 3 on
Three
Tapeta.
for 3 on the Tapeta. So a lot to like about Al Atlassi. Going to get a good stalking trip. The one horse, Zozan, another one of those Safi firsts with huge work tab, 47, 47, 47. Those are Palmettos. I haven't seen them. Palmetto seems to play a little faster in the morning. The 5-ace, the 101 and 3 to get him fit for this race. Obviously a major player in here, but a rail draw, Tapeta, another horse that has not had any experience over the Tapeta. I thought maybe of the 2 Safis we're going to see today, the first-timers that are going to get well played, maybe he's the more vulnerable of the 2. I also like Bear a little bit for a price. This horse had a big main track work back in August, 47 and 3, and has had 3 works now on the Tapeta. Loved it the other day, 35, galloped out well. Joe Orsino, not a big percentage, first-time starters. That stops me a little bit here. But this horse, of these 3, is going to be the biggest price. So I'm going to throw Bear in for at least a piece.
Yeah, I used him as well. Let's take a look at the trainer stat I got for Safi here. The rail is a worry for me. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's 3 for 9, first-time starters to Tapeta. It's not a big sample, but this is a pretty good one. The rail is where I worried about, too. Not a lot going on here with this horse either. The dam was unraced. The third foal, one of them could run. One of them ran. Wasn't much. Took 3 starts to break the maiden. I never liked the rail in general, and to be down on the rail on Tapeta sprinting is,
I agree 100%.
Is a real problem.
I am going to play against him in here and try to beat him out of the exactor.
Yeah, and they're going to bet this horse. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I will see if they come back to Al Atlassi, who ran so well.
Be interesting to see who goes off the favorite,
Yeah.
whether it's Zozan or Al Atlassi. I'm guessing maybe Zozan slightly, but
It's the connections.
hard to say.
Yeah, it's the connections. Race number 7. We're on that main track going a flat 1-turn mile here in this optional claimer for 3-year-olds and up. A field of 7 in here. Mike towards the inside with Hunter for Jose Garofalo, who's going good guns here of late.
Yeah, I hate playing horses with this kind of running style going a mile on this track. But it looks like there's a good amount of speed in here with Your Black Belt and Happy Runner stretching out off of sprints. The last race was a career best effort. Finished second behind Slim Slow Slider, who was 3 to 5 that day. Slim Slow Slider would be about 6 to 5 in here too, I believe. So I'm just hoping the pace scenario works out for him. Black Belt, strictly my second choice on the drop. His form has tailed off, though. It's been a long time since he's run well. Obviously, the last time he ran in this category, he won off the screen and got a 97 buyer, but that was a long time ago. So we're going to, just a question mark on whether he's going to be able to get back to that form or not. Only this horse's second start since May 21st. And a limited work tab. Got to be a little bit of a concern for me as well.
But I thought he showed signs of life last time, and he still got his speed. He's 8 on the line. I'll take 3-1 on black belt. That would kind of be my line in the sand. They're going to bet this horse. The class drop here is the biggest of the day. I mean, he's coming out of a race where you can see Big and Classy, Avant Glory, and Big Daddy Dave. They would be 1 to
100%,
Big and Classy would be 1 to 9 in this race. But this is a huge drop. He dueled early last time. He didn't fold badly like he had done in 4 straight starts prior to Pete freshening up a little bit. Now he gets a second start under his belt. I think this horse is in a great spot today. I'm going to try to get value because he'll be nowhere near 8-1. Try to get some value this way by singling in the horizontals with black belt because I think he's in a pretty good spot. Midnight Pranks, I don't know if he was good last time. I think he won by default last time, Mike. That was not a good group. He only beat 3 horses as well.
What's interesting, though, and what scares me a little bit with my pick Hunter is Leonel Reyes winds up back on Midnight Pranks. Obviously, it is for Jose D'Angelo, and it's a bigger outfit, and you want to try to protect your business with the big outfit.
No doubt.
So that's probably the reason, not that he's handicapping the race, but just staying loyal to one of his big clients.
And we're both, it looks a little against Morgan Point, who was okay for a quarter last time, but, I mean, he is stepping comfortably up in class today and would not want too short of a number on him. Feature race time in the 8th, and it's the Hollandale Beach. Solid group here. We go a mile. We stretch these 2-year-old fillies out to a mile. Again, we start sealed and sloppy. The weather cooperates. We should be good to go by race 7 and race 8. Again, the crew does such a good job in here. We scratch out the 6, Star of Saturn, who was in the wake of our Harper Rose on Friday. So she's out of here. The Arundel horses are front and center, and we both went with Kiss. Let's show you the replay last time. Mike, I know, I understand Let Them Watch was kind of sort of geared down a little bit. I liked what Kiss showed in the lane here. She's been working hard the whole way. I watched this race and the way she kind of still wanted to run on a little bit and says to me, maybe the mile's going to help her here.
Yeah, you know, I talked to Brian Cohen, the Arundel stable manager, and he said to me that he always thought Hepburn wanted more ground, but it looks like Kiss might too. So I agree with you here. She has a little bit of an experience edge over Hepburn. I make the race one of these two.
Agree.
She has more of an experience edge coming off this big effort, and they actually worked together last week, and I thought she was a little better of the two. Not a lot. I'm nitpicking maybe a little bit, but I think maybe when the smoke clears, she might be a little bit bigger price of the two, too.
I mean,
so. Hepburn.
Let's show Hepburn while we're talking here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Hepburn ran terrific last time. And again, Brian said she's not supposed to win going 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah,
She really wants more distance. So I think Kiss is going to get first run on her, too. Going to be forwardly placed behind probably Just Take Notes and Special Affair, probably show early speed, but she shouldn't be too far back either going long.
Marshmallow Queen is 15-1 here. I want to talk about this race. She was dogged the entire way. Hepburn is 4-5. I got to be honest, I didn't really like this race from Hepburn. She had to work way too hard to get by a horse that took all the worst of it for 112 seconds, or 72 seconds, excuse me. Hepburn was 1-5 on the far turn. I felt she had to work way too hard. That's another reason why I put her in second.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you here too. So I can see why we agree here, and we'll see. We'll see in the end if it plays out that way.
From there, it's tricky. Omaha Girl. She ran slow on debut at Monmouth when Jorge Delgado was winning a slew of 2-year-old races there. She does come out of the Colleen. It was on the turf. If nothing else, she's got stakes experience, but she's going to have to run better. Can she? Absolutely. This is a questionable field going a mile as well. I mean, she's stretching out from 5 furlongs to a mile. The race flow is a little tricky as well. Who's going? Who wants the trip? We'll see. Special Affair ran okay last time, too, for Armando de la Cerda. So maybe there's more than just the Arundel horses, but as you can kind of see what Mike and I are doing, I think the race clearly goes through the two of them. 9th race, the finale here on the Sunday card. We'll go $170 on the Tapeta. 12-5 maiden claimers here, 3-year-olds and up. We've got a clean slate of 8 in here. Mike, you started with the 5, Awesome City, on a little bit of a drop, second off for Team Captain.
Yeah, I'm just taking the drop. The fact that the horse beat 4 out of 9 rivals and his first start on the Tapeta didn't run badly over the surface. There's not a lot in here. All 3 of this Mare Sibs are winners, and I think it's going to be 4 after today. But that's 3 Sibs that have run before today, siblings. So I'm going with Awesome City. I don't love the pick. I don't love the price. I just didn't have any better ideas.
Well, any race that has rule it at 3-1, which I don't disagree with. I'm just saying you're supposed to look elsewhere, and that's what both Mike and I are doing. I went with Mucho Macho Mac here for Antonio. I mean, we're 5.5 on debut. This horse wants nothing to do with that. We're by Mucho Macho Man out of an unbridled song. Mare Antonio, we already talked about 4% with firsters. Now we stretch out. Jesus Rios gets aboard here. And I would think, Mike, this horse moves up. I got to be honest with you. That was a fast race for the level that day. I don't think he has to move up all that much either.
It's an interesting race. I see why you want to spread. I mean, I certainly wouldn't go in with a lot of confidence if I'm single.
Noble and Kind you use. He woke up on the Tapeta
he comes off for best effort yet, going to the Tapeta. First time for Dave Fox. Looks like he could be loose on the lead in here, so I'd have to throw him in as well. Again, I could see why you'd want to spread a lot in this race. I wouldn't, like I was going to say, wouldn't be overly confident, so I'm singled on Awesome City coming into this one.
And I got Noble and Kind was my fifth choice, fifth pick, who I certainly used in the end of all my horizontals. That's the 9 of them for you. Before we leave you, though, we'll take a look at the lightning round, and how could we not lead with Big and Classy, who just I think he's now 8 for 10 on the year with 2 seconds. And he was good again. I mean, you have to give him credit, and Bobby DeBona and the team. And he had to work yesterday, and he had to work darn hard. And you're going to watch him extend in the lane. Mike, this was as good as he's been. This is a strong effort.
Yeah, he got the perfect trip, but he did get challenged pretty good here by Avant Glory. Avant Glory did break a little slow, like he sometimes will, and had to rush up. And I was pretty confident when they got to the top of the stretch that Big and Classy off of his trip was going to be able to pull away. But you got, again, 10 starts, 8 wins, 2 seconds. He's now tied as the winningest horse in the country with some horse that's out in Wyoming.
Sure.
So who knows what he's been running against. 8 wins, and he's got 3 more months to go. His next start is going to be in the Gil Campbell Memorial.
The mile?
For Florida breds. Going a mile. Bobby is confident that he will get a mile, even though he got beat at a mile in his last start. I'm going to guess if he does not win the Gil Campbell Memorial at a mile that we won't see him beyond 6 and 7 again the rest of the year. But I'd have to give him a good shot in there. And this horse, a tip of the hat to this horse and his connections.
Just ask Bobby. He'll tell you. He's confident. We like Bobby. All right, best bet of the day for me is in race number 7, Black Belt. Like I said, I'll take 3-1. Black Belt. Who you got? Who's your best bet today?
You know, I don't even remember who I made best bet.
Do we
today.
have it? Well, I got the
paper.
I got the trusty form right here.
You know what? I think it was the scratch.
We're going to dispel the miss. Awesome train in race 2.
Second race out.
So there we go. Long shot for me today. Velissima. A little bit of a stretch here in race 3. We'll see what the 2 turns brings. And then just last but not least, Sundays here. If you bet with first, 10 times bonus points on any of the Gulfstream races. Use your first rewards card every Sunday here so you can kind of amp up and get a lot of rewards. So take note of that. We are happy to have you aboard. We've got the Hollandale Beach in race 8. We've got the Big Rainbow for $1.75 in race 4. It'll be a lot higher than that. And we got Pete Aiello. He's upstairs to guide you through the scratches and changes on a Sunday fun day here at Gulfstream Park.